Welcome to Tiny Wisdom. Got my little tiny singing bowl here. I'm Hopkinson. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm going to be talking about some topics that I write songs about. And I thought I would do this because maybe people want to know a bit of behind the scenes about the songs and connecting with the reasons, the reasons why I've written the songs that I've written, and just some topics that I feel, I want to say something about. So the first one I want to talk about has been, and this is kind of how I write my songs as well, like a topic will be bugging me or bothering me, or I'll be thinking about that, and I feel like, I want to say something about that. And I like writing songs because people can take what they want out of that song, and like sometimes it can be a bit disappointing as a listener. I know this because it's happened to me. I've really connected with a song, and then you hear about the real reason the person wrote it, and you think, oh no, that's not what I got out of it. And that's the magic of the songs. And sometimes I don't want to say really what drove me to write the song specifically, because it might spoil the magic of that song for you, right? For you as a person. So I hope this doesn't do that. And if you're listening to this and you are connecting with what I'm saying and you'd like to hear more of it, let me know. If you're like, no, Marie, I'd rather you just shut up about it and let us make of the songs what we will, I can also do that. But as a songwriter, and an independent musician, I want to keep connecting with you, my audience, with people who like my music, let's say fans. Listeners, I prefer probably than fans, because fans implies high school kids running, excuse me, I've had been a bit sick with a bit of a cough. So I'll have to edit those bits out. So if you see a little jump cut, that's why I'll be editing the cough bits out. So this topic of suffering, I've been thinking about that a lot. And how when things go wrong in life for us, not something you've done directly, but stuff happens that is not what we expected, it's not what we wanted. There's often a feeling, well, for myself, I often feel like, I must have done something wrong. Not I did something to deserve that, because that's not my worldview. There's a difference between I deserve that to I did something wrong. But for me, it's like the thing is, and maybe that connects with you. Maybe you feel like you struggle with breaking out of that thing. If I'm a bad person, so I deserve that. That's not how I feel and think, but I can understand how people think that. And then almost like that brings on more disastrous stuff in your life, because you are thinking about that, and it attracts more of that in some ways. But this idea of suffering being almost a positive thing, it's not a positive thing to go through it. Okay, it's not nice. There's no niceness in suffering. There's no good. There's a good in suffering, but there's no enjoyment, right? There's an enduring it. And these are not topics that musicians and singer-songwriters are going to be talking to you about, I don't think. They're not going to say, hey, suffering's great, enjoy the suffering. No, let's do a song to distract us from the suffering. And yeah, I use music like that too. You're going through a hardship, and yeah, you use a song to help you through that hardship. It might be, it distracts you from it. It completely drones out the stuff. I recently did a heavy metal, new metal sort of compilation song with an artist, Von Spriggan, and there's probably some of his fans watching this, because they've enjoyed this. Some of those fans have come into my music through that way. And yeah, some of that kind of heavy music is to drown that out. It's or almost to, I don't know, help you deal with the pain of life, to deal with the suffering. Sometimes you want a song that legitimizes your suffering, I guess, makes you almost you feel sad, and you just want to feel more sad so that you can get the sad feeling over. That's how I feel. Maybe acknowledges that other people go through what you go through too. It can be really a lonely journey, and you think, am I the only one that goes through this? And I just want you to know that, if you're going through a season of suffering, you haven't necessarily done something wrong. You don't deserve that suffering, but it's a part of life, and it's a part of life that recognises or that highlights that you're often, if you're going through suffering, your life isn't just about you. It must be about other people, because there's got to be other people in your life that you care about. You're doing something maybe that's beyond yourself. You're extending, you're trying to be a bigger person. You're trying to do something great for the world, or great for your community, great for your family, which is for the world, which is for the wider good, right? And that's important, that's needed. And I think that we don't recognise that in society enough, that the power of that suffering, and that it's okay to go through that. And life isn't always great. It isn't always like, as in happy. It's not always everything's good, everything's happy. But if you are going through a period of suffering, it doesn't last forever, that's for sure, right? When I was in my church days, they used to say this saying, if you're going through hell, don't stop, right? There was like a little t-shirt that was doing that. And that's such a true principle. Like, if you're going through a difficult time, just keep going. And that actually inspired me to write one of the lyrics for this song here, The World Still Needs You. Like, don't run, don't walk through the fire. Like if you're going to go through the fire, you may as well run through the fire. Don't dwindle, don't dawdle through the fire. It's only going to hurt you more. And the point is, you have to go through the difficulties. You have to go through the fire. You have to go through the trials. And that's teaching us who we are. It's exposing the vulnerabilities in ourselves. It's making us into a better person. My life has been fraught with heaps of difficulties. Sometimes, like, it's hard to talk about those difficulties even, because it's difficult to talk about the difficulties. And that's inspired heaps of my songs. So start off this series on a positive note, Marie. Why don't you? It's my tiny wisdom for you with this tiny singing bowl. So I hope you've enjoyed this little chat. We're gonna be doing more of this stuff, but I just wanted to say that if you're going through a difficult time, you're not alone. Lots of people do. It's not the kind of thing you put on Instagram or Facebook or social media. Oh, look at my difficult time. Look at how great. Look at how hard things are in life. Look, some people do, and they get trapped in this victim mentality even within that. But the people who really are suffering, really are, like, a lot of those people are suffering in silence. They're suffering by themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a powerful thing to go through that by yourself, and not suffering in silence as in not getting help for it. That's not what I mean. But I mean, like, you do it with your own community. You don't need people holding your hand all the time saying, oh, you're okay, you're okay. You can go through it. You get through that thing. And, you come out the other side, and sometimes people don't even realise. Like, no one would know. If you didn't say anything, no one would know that you've gone through all that. But it makes you who you are, and it makes you who you are becoming. And, it's an important rite of passage to know. And if you're a young person watching this and you think, if I'm going through a difficult time, I must be doing something wrong. Well, that's not true. Maybe there's some consequences of actions that you're facing. Yeah, that could be happening. But sometimes we go through difficult times as a test, as a way to see how we're going to go through those difficult times. You can't achieve greatness or go beyond yourself without facing the potential difficult times. You have to work that out, and you can manage small difficulties now, and then that means you're going to be able to manage bigger difficulties in the future. So I don't want to make these videos too long-winded. This is number one, suffering. And yeah, the song I would encourage you to listen to is The World Still Needs You. If you're going through a difficult time, there's a few songs that I've got that are kind of like that, but that run, find someone that can hold your hand through the fire. That's kind of what the song is saying. Like, I'll be there to hold your hand through the fire in a metaphorical sense, but there's also, there'll be people, sometimes you need to gather people around you. We're just going to help you get through that. I'll give you some practical tips that I use when I'm going through a difficult time, because that might be helpful for people. One thing is, acknowledge that it is a difficult time. And what that does is it helps you put that thing in perspective, and you're like, I have to get through this. I know this is going to be hard. You're not looking for the easy way out. You know you have to get through it. around the COVID time, I went through a really difficult time with my business and a lot of changes. And without getting into too much detail about it, like I came out the other side probably, 5-10 times better. My business was better. My life was better. So many things were better. But I went through a really tumultuous time. I had to find a new premises to work from. I had to find a new house to live in. My lease was ending. There's a housing crisis where I live. To find another rental was just arduous. It was just crazy. It was mad. It's still mad to find a rental. I think we have the 0.4% vacancy rate in Perth where I live at the moment. It's really, really low. Really, really low vacancy rate. It's a really hard, one of the hardest places in the world to find a rental house. But that's an issue that a lot of people are facing in the world. And that's part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is like that security. So when you don't have that security of, so where am I going to live? Where am I going to sleep? That can be very discombobulating for you, right? So that, acknowledge the suffering, acknowledge that you're going through a hard time. And, that helps you put things in perspective that you might otherwise plan. You're like, okay, well, maybe we're not going to go on a holiday this year, Marie. Maybe you're just going to have to get through this. Like, you're going to have to endure that suffering in some other ways. Like, not to say you have to, every day has to be miserable. That's not what I'm saying. But if I'm always thinking, oh, I wish I had my holiday, and there's no money for that holiday because you're going through this difficult time, you're making it worse for yourself. You may as well think, okay, let's do something. What else could we do? That would be like a break time, but not as if the money is the issue for the holiday, that kind of stuff. Get the people around you that support you. Acknowledge who those people are and use them, right? Use that support, not abuse them, but allow yourself to use those people. And that can take lots of different forms, right? So sometimes you need to have a chat with someone on the phone that you can just talk and vent. Like my sister's really good like that. We'll just have a long chat on the phone. She lives on the other side of the world to me, almost the other side of the world. And, we can have a long chat and it feels like you're right there in each other's space. It might be a partner that you've got, or you might not have a partner. I mean, that's been an issue for me a long time. Like, I've been a single person for a long time. And yeah, you can get into this rut of thinking, oh, woe is me, I don't have a partner. Like, if I had a partner, I'd have someone's shoulder to cry on. But there's other people's shoulders you could cry on, right? Like, or friends you can reach out to. So yeah, you can go through seasons of real difficulty where you don't have those friends and all you have is yourself. Yeah, I acknowledge that. And I'm not trying to diminish anyone's hardship here, because this is a sensitive topic to think about that. And that might be the suffering that you're going through, that you've lost relationships and friends and things like that. And maybe we'll talk about that in a different video. But reach out to the people that you can reach out to, even if it's just one person, right? Now, don't use them every day. They're going to hate you if you rock up at their house every day and they're going to suddenly not be your friend. But use that in moderation. Work out the things that do benefit you, that you can make time to do, that can give you a bit of a break from that suffering, right, in a way. So, for instance, like I said, you might be thinking, oh, I wish I could get a holiday. Maybe you can just take a drive into the countryside and enjoy that for half a day, and it gives you a bit of a break from it. Sometimes I'll just call up my sister-in-law or my brother and say, what are the kids doing? I'll take them to the park, because I find that enjoyable, and they're like good because they get a break from their kids. And the kids are like, oh, they love their fun auntie that's going to take them to the park. We get to go for a walk. Everyone's a winner, right? That's good. So something like that, kids can be really refreshing. If you don't have kids, you're an uncle or an auntie, that's awesome. Or a grandparent, whatever. Like, using those things that benefit you. Like, I love painting. That's one of the things. You can see some of the paintings here. Now, I don't do it all the time. I actually haven't done painting hardly at all this year. And now it's already August this year. So, you go through seasons of things that are benefiting you and things that you want to do. But, finding something, knowing the things that you're good at, that you enjoy, that you can do, that you have the means for. Like, it's not going to be exorbitant, because sometimes suffering is intrinsically linked to financial suffering. Like, cutting off those means to those things. So finding some time and making some time to do some of those things amidst the whole, okay, we're going to take a step forward. We're going to run through this fire. We're going to get through this fire as quickly as we can and not linger in the fire, not endure the hardship more than we have to, but knowing that you have to go through it. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel yucky. And then you're going to get through it and you're going to be a better person. And you're going to go through it either way, right? You're going to go through it and come out the other side as something. You may as well come out the other side as a better person. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you want to hear more of these things, my opinion on stuff, my 2 cents advice, my tiny wisdom with this little tiny singing bowl, then leave a comment and I'll make more of this stuff. And I hope you're doing well, and keep on keeping on. And to remember, the world still needs you. Run through that fire.
This darkness won't last, but it might feel like it's never gonna pass. This pain that you feel, no one else can bear it, but I can help you share it. Don't run, I'll hold your hand while we get to the other side. Sit here in this space while you face the fear. The world still needs you. There's still a space for you, a place for you. Do the things you love to do. The world still needs you. There's still room for you, a place for you. Do the things you love to do. Your past is not who you are now. I believe in you, even if you don't. We all make mistakes, we grow, we learn, we move on. Don't run, I'll hold your hand while we get to the other side. The world still needs you. There's still a space for you, a place for you. Do the things you love to do. The world still needs you. There's still room for you, a place for you. Do the things you love to do. Still a space for you, place for you. Do the things you love to do.